My wife's lover came to my hospital to provoke me. He said I was just a male nurse who wasn't presentable enough and told me to leave my wife as soon as possible. I was in the middle of giving a patient an injection and ignored him. In anger, the lover grabbed my syringe and loudly accused me of being a homewrecker who slept his way to the top. My wife arrived after hearing the commotion and assumed I had bullied her lover. She started yelling at me. "You're nothing but a lowly servant. You better apologize to my baby right now, or I won't let you off." Shocked by my wife's attitude, I couldn't contain my anger and slapped them both across the face. Before I knew it, someone had uploaded the video online. My wife, trying to force me to submit, made things worse by encouraging people to cyberbully me to death. When I opened my eyes, I was back to the day when the lover came to find me. "Nurse Lee, someone's here to see you." A voice came from the door as I gradually came to my senses, finally realizing I had truly been reborn. In my past life, my wife was obsessed with CEO romance novels and looked down on me for being a male nurse. She said I didn't understand her interests and wouldn't even play role-playing games with her. So she found a lover who would play CEO games with her. My wife often brought her lover to my hospital to provoke me, saying I was an insignificant male nurse and should leave my wife soon. I was giving an injection to a patient and ignored them. In anger, her lover grabbed my syringe and accused me of being a homewrecker who slept my way to the top. My wife came running and thought I had bullied her lover, so she slapped me across the face. Her lover was smug, tilting his chin up with a seal-like tone. "You're just a lowly servant. How dare you compete with me for my baby? I suggest you get lost quickly, or I'll make sure you die without a proper burial." My wife loved how her lover acted that way and joined him in berating me. I couldn't stand it anymore and slapped both of them. But before I could react, the edited video had already gone viral online. I was forced to suspend work and became a nurse who everyone condemned as heartless. My wife, to force me to submit, demanded I kneel and apologize, and even fueled the cyberbullying that led to my death. But unexpectedly, heaven gave me a chance to be reborn. This time, I absolutely won't let those two succeed. Thinking about it now, they probably had planned this trap waiting for me to fall in. "Nurse Lee, did you hear? Someone's looking for you." Another voice came from the door. I responded, took out my phone from my pocket, turned on the recording, placed it at a good angle, and then replied, "I'm too busy right now. Tell them to wait." As soon as I finished speaking, an impatient voice came from the door. "What do you mean too busy? There's no one here. What do you pretend? Thing to be busy with? You're just a lowly nurse, aren't you?" Nicely put. You're a nurse. But to put it bluntly, you're nothing more than what used to be a bed-warming maid in ancient times. I kept my head down helping the patient with the injection, ignoring him. But the female nurses around who heard this immediately rolled their eyes in anger. "Who are you calling a bed-warming girl? We graduated from proper university nursing programs and formally studied all nursing knowledge and procedures." "Watch your mouth." Wang Ji snorted coldly, with contempt all over his face. "Proper? This worthless stuff like giving injections and changing 4 bags. You could grab anyone off the street, throw them in a hospital for 2 or 3 months, and they'd learn it." The female nurse stamped her foot in anger but didn't know what to say, and turned to leave. Wang Ji sneered, "Getting upset, aren't you?" After saying that, he turned back to see me still focused on giving the injection, ignoring him. Anger suddenly rose in his heart, and he walked over and without a word yanked the 4 tube from my hand. "Aren't you just a homewrecker who slept your way up? Li Ziwei, I'm here today to warn you to stay away from yachting, or don't blame me for being ruthless." The needle that had been inserted into the vein came back out, and blood droplets immediately appeared all over the back of the patient's hand. Wang Ji exclaimed, "The nurse is killing people." I quickly grabbed a bandage and applied it to the patient's hand, applying pressure. Only after the bleeding stopped did I coldly look at Wang Ji. Wang Ji snorted smugly, "What are you looking at? Am I wrong? You're just a homewrecker who slept your way to the top. Someone like you only deserves to do such lowly, servile work." My temple twitched, and just as I was about to speak, a familiar voice came from the doorway. "Gigi, what's wrong?" Huang Yaqing ran in from outside and hugged Wang Ji. Wang Ji leaned her head against her, deliberately putting on an aggrieved expression while covering her face. "Baby, I just came here because I was sick, but Li Ziwei slapped me. It hurts so much. Baby, you need to stand up for me." Huang Yaqing consoled him with a sympathetic face, but when she raised her head to look at me, her eyes widened. "Li Ziwei, have you forgotten your place? How dare you hit Gigi?" I twitched my lips, choosing not to respond. But they deliberately tried to provoke me. "People like you are truly the scum of society. Gigi came to the hospital for treatment, and not only did you refuse to treat him, but you also slapped him. Who do you think you are to hit our Gigi? Look at your hands that change diapers and clean up after people. They're so dirty, I wouldn't even want them wiping my bottom. No wonder only someone like you would do such trashy work." "Exactly, even dogs wouldn't do this kind of work, let alone a grown man. It's absolutely shameful." "Gigi, what are you saying? How could he compare to you? This kind of worthless job is only for losers, delinquent girls, and people with no future. Slap. Before she could finish speaking, I interrupted her with a slap. I shook my numbed hand, pointing at the red mark on Wang Ji's face. If you need medical attention, please go to the doctor's office. Don't make a scene here. Wang Ji covered her face and immediately started shouting as she walked towards the exit. Help! The nurse is trying to kill me. The nurse hit me. Come quickly, someone come quickly. This nurse is not only a homewrecker, but also mentally ill. Come here right now. Seeing this, Huang Yaqing also hurriedly sat down on the ground crying. This hospital is inhuman, and this nurse is even more inhuman. Come quickly. You need to get justice for us. The head nurse rushed over upon hearing the commotion, looking anxious. Shaoli, what's going on? I glanced at the two troublemakers. They insulted my profession, and I couldn't tolerate it anymore, so I slapped her. The head nurse became instantly furious. What problem can't be solved through discussion? How could you be so impulsive? Wang Ji stepped forward and pointed accusingly. Head nurse, you must help us get justice. This nurse is simply inhuman. Look what they did to my face. Besides, head nurse, I have a heart condition. What if something happens to me? Oh, my chest hurts so much. With that, Wang Ji collapsed to the ground. My eyelid twitched. This didn't happen in the previous life. He has a heart condition? 3. Huang Yaqing quickly took out her phone to record. My boyfriend's heart condition was triggered by your hospital's doctor. I'll make you all pay for this. The head nurse, frightened, rushed to cover her camera while trying to calm her down. Miss, please don't panic. Shaoli, quickly call a doctor, get an internal medicine consultation. When Wang Ji heard they were calling for a consultation, he sat up clutching his chest, looking at them somewhat nervously. I think it doesn't hurt as much now. I stepped forward, with a slight twitch at the corner of my mouth. This won't do. After all, it was my fault. Let's have an internal medicine doctor take a look. Don't worry, I'll cover all the expenses. I'll make sure everything is properly arranged for you. As I spoke, I reached for the department phone nearby to make a call. Seeing this, Huang Yaqing quickly rushed forward, grabbed the phone and threw it to the ground. Gigi already said it's not necessary. Why are you still trying to call? What can people like you afford with a month's salary? It's not even enough for me and my Gigi to have one Western dinner. Yes, people like us indeed don't earn much. You and your boyfriend are truly extraordinary. The head nurse smiled apologetically. Why don't you both come with me? We can discuss this properly in the office. Who wants to discuss with you? Huang Yaqing said impatiently. I'm going to expose your hospital. Let everyone see what kind of people you really are. A mere nurse dared to slap my boyfriend's face. The head nurse quickly responded. What would you like us to do then? Wang Ji stepped forward, pointing at me. Aren't customers supposed to be your gods? Now that a god has been slapped by a mere server, what should be done? The lowly should kneel and apologize to their superiors. Huang Yaqing's eyes sparkled as she nodded in agreement. Yes, that's right. Gigi, you're so domineering. She loved seeing Wang Ji act this way. The two of them shared similar interests and were having great fun. Quickly kneel and apologize to our Gigi. Otherwise, don't blame us for being unpleasant. I sneered. What if I don't kneel? The head nurse looked troubled. Miss, why don't we talk about this first? No talking, unless you kneel and apologize. Otherwise, we won't let this go. Huang Yaqing started to take out her phone to record again. This time I raised my hand directly, pointing to the door, and said coldly, Get out of here now. Everyone stared with wide eyes, unable to believe it. The head nurse was even sweating. Li Ziwei, are you trying to make this situation even worse? Huang Yaqing sneered. You all saw it. He was the one who bullied us first. The patients who had been watching from halfway through immediately became discontented. What kind of hospital is this? How can you treat patients this way? Heartless. How are you qualified to be a nurse? No wonder they want you to kneel and apologize. Someone like you should kneel and apologize. Kneel and apologize. Kneel and apologize. More and more voices were about to overwhelm the entire infusion room. The head nurse quickly called the hospital director. Looking at all these faces, I recalled being cyber-bullied to death in my previous life. I unbuttoned and took off my nurse uniform, placing it on the nearby coat rack, my face full of coldness. I did nothing wrong. Making me kneel and apologize is impossible. I would rather resign. Under everyone's shock, I slowly walked away. Back home, I let out a sigh and quickly took out my phone to call the head nurse to explain the situation. After explaining everything, the head nurse gave me a harsh scolding before hanging up the phone. The hospital must be in complete chaos right now, but I had no choice. I took out my phone and looked at the complete video I recorded. This time, nothing will go wrong. Bang! The door was kicked open from outside, and Huang Yaqing burst in with an angry face. Li Ziwei, what the hell do you mean? I glanced at her. Isn't this exactly what you wanted? Huang Yaqing was stunned, then became guilty. What do you mean what I wanted? I got up and walked in front of her, staring at her intently. She stepped back fearfully. What are you doing? I let out a cold laugh. Huang Yaqing, isn't all this just because you want to divorce me quickly so you can be with your Gigi? Why go to such lengths? If you want a divorce, you could have just said it straightforwardly. No need to destroy me like this. After hearing this, Huang Yaqing let out a sigh of relief, then immediately became arrogant again. That's right. I just want to divorce you and be with Gigi. I nodded. Don't worry. The divorce agreement will definitely be in front of you tomorrow morning. Huang Yaqing looked indifferent. Fine. You'd better hurry. After saying that, she went into her room and locked the door. I walked into the study to prepare the divorce agreement, but I wouldn't be so foolish as to divorce tomorrow. If we got divorced, wouldn't that mean I couldn't prove Wang Ji was the mistress? Early the next morning, I had just gotten up and hadn't left my room when I heard a conversation in the living room. Gigi, do you know I almost thought I was exposed yesterday? I thought that idiot Li Ziwei had figured out our plan. Once we're divorced, I can release the edited video, and then we can manipulate him however we want. Won't he have to spend money on us then? Hearing this, I gave a cold laugh. Huang Yaqing and I met through an introduction. At first sight, I thought Huang Yaqing was beautiful. Later we exchanged contact information and chatted on and off. Back then, Huang Yaqing seemed to have a good personality, nothing like how unstable she is now. After chatting for about half a year, they established a romantic relationship. They got married a year later. This was his first relationship, and he had genuine intentions of marriage, initially full of expectations for married life. But he never imagined a woman could pretend for so long. Just 2 months after marrying him, she started revealing all her peculiar habits. She was obsessed with CEO romance novels, fantasizing about sudden wealth, thinking she was an irresistible female protagonist. She looked down on his profession, complained that he embarrassed her, despised him for being a male nurse. He was already busy at the hospital, and later their relationship deteriorated further as she wore down his patience. She went off to find a playmate named Wang Ji who was willing to indulge in her fantasies. The two of them spent their days being unproductive, fantasizing about getting rich quick and playing role-playing games. Gigi, let's do some role-play. Today you can be the emperor, and I'll be your son's princess. How about that? Just thinking about it is exciting. Li Ziwei isn't here anyway. As soon as the words fell, I opened the door and walked out. The two people embracing inside were startled. Li Ziwei, why are you here? Aren't you at work? I let out a cold laugh. Have you both forgotten? I don't have a job anymore. Thanks to you two ruining it. Huang Yaqing trembled, her face full of panic. What did you just hear? I sneered. What could I have heard? I just woke up, opened the door, and saw you two embracing. Huang Yaqing let out a sigh of relief, leaning back against Wang Ji. What's wrong with me hugging my Gigi? I just love hugging my Gigi. I turned and walked straight into the kitchen, with Huang Yaqing following. Li Ziwei, if you're cooking, make enough for me and Gigi too. I ignored her. Huang Yaqing was furious, looking back at Wang Ji. Gigi, look at him. Wang Ji stepped forward and snatched the pot from my hands, smashing it hard onto the ground. He tilted his chin up and looked down his nose at people. Didn't you hear my baby say she wants to eat? Are you tired of living as a nanny? How dare you not listen to your master's words? If you let my baby go hungry, believe it or not, I'll make your stomach accompany hers to the grave. I was instantly speechless, looking at the pot on the ground with heartache. Being smashed by him, you were pitiful too. Yet Huang Yaqing loved it so much. Gigi, you're so amazing. You're so good to me. Woo Gigi. I let out a breath, strongly suppressing my anger. Can you get out? Stop being an eyesore in my home. Your home? Does this belong to you? It's ours. Huang Yaqing immediately became unhappy when she heard this. Although you bought this home, it became our communal property after we got married. Right? Our baby also belongs as an owner of this house. What right do you have to drive her away? Are you qualified to do that? I gave a cold laugh. My name is on the property deed. Huang Yaqing glanced at Wang Ji. Wang Ji sneered. What's yours or mine? Eventually, everything will belong to me and baby. Baby, let's go. I'll take you out for Western food now. Don't waste time talking to this disgusting person. Huang Yaqing looked delighted. Wow, baby is so amazing. Baby is so capable. Watching them leave, I finally had some peace and quiet. Most likely, these two would release their edited and manipulated video tonight. After eating, I returned to the study and started preparing my own video. If they can do it, so can I. In this life, I want them to taste what it's like to be cyberbullied. As expected, they released the video that night. They even bought trending topics heavily, and within an hour, this video quickly dominated the trending lists across all platforms. Hashtag male nurse at certain hospital verbally and physically abuses patient. Video evidence and truth revealed. I clicked on it and saw their edited video. They didn't include any footage of the two of them cursing at me at all. The situation heated up quickly, and soon my account got banned. Many hospital patients who had only seen part of the incident came out to join in. We saw it with our own eyes. It's true. That male nurse hit someone and verbally abused the patient. Yes, and he claimed it wasn't his fault and refused to apologize. In the end, he threw down his uniform and quit on the spot. I heard he got his position by being the third party in an affair. This really added fuel to the fire. Eventually, the rumors got more and more outrageous. This male nurse killed someone at the hospital. The patient has already been sent to the crematorium. The nurse is in hiding and won't speak, and the hospital chose to fire the male nurse. No wonder people say the nursing profession attracts delinquent youth and social outcasts. I'm scared to go get injections or IVs now. I'm afraid these delinquents will hurt me. This male nurse is a disgrace to society. He needs to come out and apologize. Give us citizens justice. What's so special about being a nurse? Come out and apologize right now. Looking at these comments, my heart didn't stir at all. The events of my previous life were still vivid in my mind. These were nothing in comparison. In a while, his phone would probably be flooded with calls. Then he would be doxxed, and people would throw rotten eggs at him. And he would be cursed at. Ding dong. While he was absorbed in reading, there was suddenly a knock at the door. He put down his phone and got up to answer it. When he saw the woman standing outside, he was visibly stunned. Then his lips curved into a slight smile. "It's you." The woman outside was startled. "You know me?" Hearing her say that, I suddenly remembered that I had been reborn. Zhao Qin doesn't know me yet in this life. In my previous life, if there was anything comforting before death, it was probably meeting Zhao Qin. Back then, he was hiding from cyberbullying, and Huang Yaqing and Wang Ji had cheated him out of everything he had. He either slept under bridges or in basements. He was mentally exhausted, frightened by even the slightest sound. By chance, he met Zhao Qing, a female journalist who, unlike others, didn't curse at him, but instead provided him with food, shelter, and a place to sleep. She also said she believed I wouldn't do such things, and asked why I didn't choose to fight back. At that time, I had nothing left and didn't know how to fight back. Moreover, there were no videos or witnesses. So he accepted his fate. After I finished speaking, Zhao Qin told me that she used to be a nurse too. But once she was sexually harassed by a patient. She endured it once, but that person became even more aggressive, saying female nurses were just animals born to do dirty work for people. She couldn't hold back anymore and split that person's head open. Because there was no evidence, nobody believed her. But in the end, she was the one who attacked and injured someone. So no matter what, no one would believe her. Eventually, she was forced to resign and had to pay the family hundreds of thousands. She gained nothing, and in the end lost everything. Later, she became a journalist, dedicated to exposing the ugliness of reality for ordinary people. Mr. Li, Zhao Qin noticed I was distracted and waved her hand in front of my eyes. I came back to my senses and quickly welcomed her in. "Are you a reporter?" Zhao Qin was surprised. "You know me?" I nodded. "Yes, you're quite well known." Zhao Qin seemed embarrassed by my compliment. "No, I'm not famous at all. I'm just doing something very ordinary." I quickly shook my head in disagreement. "Not ordinary. You're really amazing." Zhao Qin's lips curved slightly as she got to the point. "I came to ask if you need my help. Although I might not be able to do much alone, I can at least help you. Please sit here and wait for me." After saying this, I went to the study and soon returned with my compiled videos and materials, handing them to her. "I hope reporter Zhao can help me." Zhao Qin looked surprised. "You trust me just like that?" I nodded seriously. "I trust you, because you were once like me. I hope we can both find justice for ourselves." Zhao Qin gripped the items in her hand tightly. "Mr. Li, I will definitely show everyone the complete truth." After exchanging contact information with Zhao Qin, she took her things and left. She didn't release the video immediately, but waited until Huang Yaqing and others' video was at its peak before dropping an even more explosive revelation. A few days later, I finally saw the smug Huang Yaqing and Wang Ji return. When they pushed open the door and saw me sitting on the sofa drinking tea, their faces were full of disbelief. "Li Ziwei, you actually have the mood to drink tea?" I didn't even lift my eyes, continuing to drink tea and read. Huang Yaqing stepped forward and swept away my book. "Why are you pretending? Haven't you seen what they're saying about you online? How can you have no reaction at all?" I looked up at her, my gaze turning slightly cold. "Then what expression do you think I should have?" Huang Yaqing took a deep breath. "At least you should look upset. At least beg us." I gave a cold laugh. "Beg you? Beg you for what? Beg you to let me go? Would you let me go?" Wang Ji stepped forward and put his arm around Huang Yaqing's waist, looking at me quite smugly. "If you kneel down, apologize to us, transfer the ownership of this house to us, and serve us well, we might go online to explain things and get them to leave you alone." I snorted. "Well, thank you, but I really don't need that." After saying that, I continued drinking my tea, not forgetting to urge them to leave. "Please leave quickly, don't dirty my floor." The two of them exchanged glances, seemingly unsatisfied with my response. In their eyes, I should be Be like my previous life, like an ant on a hot pan, accepting whatever they say. And in the end, getting completely thrown out and becoming as unwanted as a street rat. Li Ziwei, you really don't feel anything? I remained silent. Huang Yaqing laughed in anger. Fine then, we've given you a chance, don't regret it later. The two left angrily, slamming the door so hard the whole house shook. Within an hour, another storm broke out online. I clicked on the video they posted. Huang Yaqing covered her face as she cried uncontrollably. Dear followers, I originally didn't want to post this video, but I really can't hold back anymore, and I'm only seeking your help because I have no other choice. I'm the patient who was hit by a male nurse that's being widely discussed online. Initially, I didn't want this incident to spread online, but that male nurse has never apologized to me. I'm only posting this online because I have no other option, hoping that you, my online friends, can help me seek justice. I really didn't want to do this live stream. However, I truly had no choice. Today, accompanied by my family members, I gathered the courage to seek an apology from that male nurse. But unexpectedly, not only did he refuse to apologize, he slapped me and even threatened our lives. I sincerely hope here that everyone can give me justice. I must say Huang Yaqing truly lives up to being someone who enjoys role-playing. This level of expression is comparable to a contemporary award-winning actress. The comments were full of consoling messages for her, and many people also sent gifts encouraging them to file a lawsuit. These two are probably going to keep live streaming these days to make money. My guess was indeed correct. In the following days, they kept doing live streams. They must have made quite a lot of money. Comments started appearing questioning if they were just doing this for money. But those were just a few comments, quickly buried under supportive messages. Couldn't even find them anymore. Li Ziwei, how have you been these days? Not long after they ended their live stream, they came to my place. Looking at what they were wearing, they must have made quite a lot of money. They started wearing designer brands and gold bracelets. When Huang Yaqing noticed me looking at her bracelet, she took it off and deliberately showed it off in front of me. What's wrong? Jealous? Envious? Have you never seen a big gold bracelet before? Of course you haven't seen one. With your pathetic salary, it's not even as much as what I make in a minute of live streaming now. Li Ziwei, if you're willing to kneel and apologize now, I might let bygones be bygones, and maybe even give you some money in the future. I pulled at the corner of my mouth. Thanks, but no. Just disappear from my sight. Huang Yaqing was so angry that she threw things when she saw I wasn't eating it. You think, Li Ziwei, are you heartless? Don't you have any expression when people insult you? Wang Ji quickly went forward to comfort her. Baby, don't be angry. It's not worth getting upset over someone like this. Huang Yaqing made a few I-O sounds. My baby is always so good to me. I love my Gigi the most. Li Ziwei, let's make a deal. Wang Ji said while looking at me. I directly said I wasn't interested. Wang Ji pulled Huang Yaqing to sit beside me. You kneeled down and apologized to us. Record a video for us to post online, and this incident will become even more viral. When Yaqing does her live streams later, we'll give you a small share of the money we earn, and we can also overlook what you did to us before. What I did to you? What exactly did I do to you? I laughed in anger. Did you all get brain damage from being online for a few days? Don't forget you were the ones who upset me first. Moreover, Huang Yaqing, I haven't even divorced you yet. What do you think would happen if I posted our marriage certificate online, to you and your Gigi? Would you get even more popular? Make money even faster? Or would you get destroyed by netizens? Huang Yaqing's eyes widened instantly. You wouldn't dare. What wouldn't I dare to do? I looked at her coldly. If you all dare to slander me without reason, why can't I fight back? What difference would a marriage certificate make? The internet is now full of criticism about you being a nurse without medical ethics. Even if you upload it, it won't change the fact that the video shows you verbally and physically abusing patients. Huang Yaqing said with contempt. Li Ziwei, Gigi, and I will give you one more chance. In 3 days, come to us, kneel down and apologize, then personally hand over the property deed. I promise you can enjoy the good life with us. With that, she stood up. Gigi, let's go. Don't waste time with this kind of trash. Wang Ji snorted coldly. Fine. After they walked away, I took out the voice recorder from under the sofa. This time, it was my true trump card. Are you two ready? In 3 days, I'll make you even more famous than you could imagine. When the 3 days were up, I immediately registered a Weibo account, followed various social media platforms, and finally followed Zhao Qin. Right on time, Zhao Qin immediately posted all the evidence she had obtained online. I reposted it immediately and added text. For the second post, I quickly shared my university degree, certificates earned during school, scholarships, everything, and tagged my school. Everyone deserves respect, and every profession deserves even more respect. There is no hierarchy among professions, no upper or lower class. Shortly after, my hospital also reposted it, and gradually my alumni, various social media platforms, and major internet celebrities all started reposting. Along with my colleagues, she released an audio recording. Those insulting words about the nursing profession from Wang Ji fell into netizens' ears word for word. Various major medical platforms also began to share and repost it. In just over 10 minutes, it went viral rapidly. At the peak of these Weibo posts, I released the marriage certificate with Huang Yaqing, along with evidence of her affair during this period, and the various role-playing games she played with Wang Ji. For all of this, I should actually thank these two people. If they hadn't sought their thrills in my house, I wouldn't have gotten these surveillance videos. This was the most explosive part. It instantly crashed all platforms. Huang Yaqing, who had been live streaming her grievances, was immediately forced to end her stream due to the backlash. In just a second, my phone rang. I answered it, and before I could speak, the other person started cursing. "Li Ziwei, you beast, how dare you keep this as a backup plan? No wonder you weren't worried at all. Did you set up this trap waiting for us to fall in? How disgusting are you?" I hung up immediately, not willing to say another word to her. Those internet users who criticized me before started to change their stance one after another. People are like this. They only believe what they see with their own eyes. Things are what they are. That's why the internet is full of truth and lies, and you can't trust any of it. In the following days, this topic kept trending on social media. Zhao Qin said I could accept an interview. I trusted everything she said, so I accepted. On the day of the interview, many reporters and media came. I was overwhelmed by so many questions, not knowing which one to answer. Finally, I picked a few simple ones to answer. When it was about to end, I took Zhao Qin's microphone and said, "I am a male nurse, and I don't feel ashamed of this profession at all. I never feel that this profession is inferior to any other. I love my specialty, I love my position, and I love my career. I also hope that my fellow students won't let certain people or incidents diminish your passion for the medical profession." After the interview, I left with Zhao Qin. Once we got in the car, I looked at her and sincerely said, "Thank you." Zhao Qin curved her lips and said, "It's okay. Actually, I had my own selfish reasons this time. I wasn't just helping you, but also helping my past self." Although I had heard her say this once in my previous life, in this life, I still didn't interrupt her and listened to her say it again. After listening, I asked, "Then won't you seek justice for yourself?" Zhao Qin smiled and shook her head. "Now that I see you're safe, I feel at peace. In the future, I will do my best as a journalist to help more people." After parting with her, I went home planning to sell this house and buy an apartment in the neighborhood near the hospital instead. Once decided, it was done quickly. Within 3 days, someone bought the house. Because of the good location, it sold for a good price. The incident online remained hot, becoming even more viral. I heard that Huang Yaqing was being blamed by Wang Ji. He claimed that Huang Yaqing had seduced him and said that all those things were done under her instructions. Due to slandering others, inciting cyberbullying, and deceiving netizens of their money through lies, they were taken away by the police for investigation. As for what ultimately happened to the two of them, nobody knows. But they got what they deserved. The only pity is that they didn't get to experience the full force of the netizens' wrath. A few days later, I received notice from the hospital to return to work. Looking at the colorful clouds in the sky outside the window, I smiled, my heart full of joy. It's wonderful that in this life I